I believe that everyone is entitled to access to the court system.
As I walk through the halls of justice in our county, it's heartbreaking to know how widespread the need for pro bono legal assistance is.
There's just a tremendous gap in the availability of legal aid and legal services for people who can't afford lawyers.
The first time I went to court, it was just myself, so I was super nervous and scared and wasn't sure, and when I left I was sure that I had forgotten stuff, and then with the judge telling me that I needed to get help from an attorney.
I was lost, and I have no idea that I will be able to ever find anybody who would be able to take my case without any money.
They've been locked off my own property, and I'm afraid to go there without a policeman.
I wouldn't have been able to get a divorce after I tried doing it myself, and that's when I realized how complicated it was.
It was very frustrating. I felt really disempowered by the system.
I believe that places that offer these services, like the volunteer legal services, give those people an opportunity to be heard, and I think everyone is entitled to that.
By most measures, Alameda County is a vibrant and prosperous set of communities. Legal representation is easy to find, if you have money. And yet, for large segments of our community, legal services in civil matters are completely out of reach. A third of our children are in low-income families. Legal procedures that you and I take for granted are simply not available to many in our community. But there is hope. Hundreds of attorneys in Alameda County are providing free legal assistance to families and individuals in need. The money you contribute to VLSC is magnified by the thousands of hours of volunteer service by these attorneys. We're still a long way from achieving the promise of justice for all, but with your help, VLSC is working hard to make that vision a reality in our communities.
The Alameda County Bar Association is one of the very few bar associations in the state that maintains its own separately incorporated pro bono program. And I think this shows our bar's commitment to serving low-income individuals and families.
Stacy had been working for a long time to try to get a divorce and had been to court many times, and it was a really frustrating process, and she really needed somebody to come in and streamline it. As it turned out, we got everything that she wanted. She got her divorce, she got full custody of her daughter, visitation on the schedule that she wanted it, child support ordered, and just a lot more stability.
Most people don't realize what it takes to run a successful pro bono program. There's the screening and intake of clients, and then there's matching the clients to the correct clinic or the correct individual lawyer. There's recruiting and training those lawyers, providing malpractice insurance for those lawyers. There's maintaining a database so that we can keep track of all this activity. And then, of course, there's fundraising.
I have this in my heart that I want to give, and I want to be able to help and bridge that gap. But I wouldn't know how else to do that. I wouldn't know how to be in touch with people or how to find them. And so by getting trained by VLSC and having VLSC take the time to match me with clients whose needs meet my expertise and training, it gives me an opportunity to give what's already in my heart.
Volunteer Legal Services Corporation does the things that I don't have time to do.
Alameda County Bar Association, how can I help you?
I don't have time to perform those administrative tasks. I don't have time to coordinate the efforts, and I don't have time to do the intake. They act as an intermediary.
Each month, Volunteer Legal Services sponsors 18 clinics where clients learn to represent themselves on a variety of legal matters.
We do clinics in family law, debt collection, landlord-tenant, and immigration. Our clinics fill up within 1 hour, and so we announce the clinic, it's filled up, and then we have a waiting list again. And if you can imagine having a pressing legal need and having to wait for another volunteer attorney or having to wait for our staff finding that attorney, you can recognize the need for having more staff and more support.
They had come into the clinic for assistance on several occasions trying to evict a man whom she had agreed to allow to stay in her home, and in exchange for some rent and doing some repairs. And over time, the rent wasn't paid, the repairs weren't done, and he became entrenched. It took us some time, but we were finally able to get an agreement from him to move out, and in the next couple of months he'll be leaving.
I would never have gotten my house back if I didn't have legal help. That's the bottom line.
Volunteer Legal Services Corporation serves the needs of a group of people that otherwise might not have legal services provided to them. The working poor, the people that work every day but still can't make enough money to make ends meet. What I've seen over the past 8 years is that a lot of the people I see at the clinic are people that used to be stockbrokers. They used to work for major corporations. They got into crushing credit card debt, job loss. They're you and me. They're somebody that can no longer afford to pay for legal services. They never thought they'd be in that position, and they need our help.
There's every reason in the world for us to do pro bono work. We have the opportunity to help people avoid financial and domestic family disasters, and I think that all attorneys should try and find the time to do pro bono work.
I haven't had anybody to stand up for me, and I don't even have the words to help make me feel. It was like maybe life wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and that if there are people out there that actually cared, and that was the biggest thing, because I really felt like she cared about my situation.
I've been personally touched by working with pro bono clients. Today you've had the opportunity to hear some of their stories. It's time to give back to the community. We can do that by making a financial contribution to VLSC.
If the work of VLSC and organizations like it is going to continue, this organization needs financial cash contributions.
In the face of the ever-widening gap between the haves and the have-nots, and we see this every day in our country, our bar is doing something. Whether you take a pro bono case, whether you go to a clinic, whether you write a check to VLSC, you're making a difference.
Donating to volunteer legal services is easy. Please visit us online at www.acbanet.org or give us a call at the Alameda County Bar Association. Thank you for caring.